Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I just want to start by saying if you can please support this channel by liking and subscribing, then I know that you guys want to hear me tell more stories about what had happened during my relationship with a covert narcissist. If you haven't listened to my other story already, I was in a 4-year relationship with a covert narcissist. We have one child together. He was a step parent to my daughter from a previous relationship, and we were engaged. So there are a lot of stories, there's a lot of information I have to share with you guys, and I'm just gonna get right into the video today. Today I wanted to bring you guys something a little bit more different. Last time I was kind of getting into the introduction of our relationship and I just kind of skimmed over a few things. Today I do have some notes with me, and this video is going to revolve around narcissistic quotes that I was told in my relationship. I don't know if any of you guys can identify them. Some of them are very generic and I'm hearing them. Apparently they're said by a lot of narcissists. So I just want to be able to share with you guys things that I've written down in notes in my phone over the time being when this person and I were together that weren't normal for me. I haven't ever been in a relationship with somebody like this before, so this was confusing. So maybe me sharing these phrases will bring some light to somebody, or they can be like, hey, my partner says that to me, you know, and have some kind of clarity with what's going on, because as I said in my other video, all of us are kind of confused and searching for answers and still on some type of journey. So I have my list here. I'm gonna get to, mind you, on the back is some doodles. My daughter, we are practicing counting money, so just ignore that little flash of like doodled money. So I just grabbed any notebook this morning and I was just like, you know what, I'm in the mood to make a video, so I just grabbed whatever notebook was nearest so I can jot down these sayings from my phone notes. But I am using my phone to record this, so I needed to just have it on paper, so I'm not just kind of trying to scramble from my brain and collect whatever I can think of. So here I have some covert narcissist quote examples from what I heard while I was in this relationship said to me from the covert narcissist. So the first one is, me setting boundaries was always giving him the impression that I was giving him an ultimatum. So if I didn't like something and I said, you know what, if you're going to continue this type of behavior, or if you're going to lie, or if whatnot, like if you can't be a truthful person, say for instance, for example, I was saying that because I found out he lied about something again, I would say, you know what, I'm gonna go because this is not something I want to take part in, and you know that. And he would be like, okay, I don't know why you have to give me ultimatums. And it would turn into an argument about ultimatums, even though I just caught you doing something. So he would deflect and try and turn around and make it about me giving him an ultimatum. But if there wasn't any presented situation, I couldn't give you this ultimatum, aka me setting boundaries and not wanting to take crap and lies. You can't get over the past. This seems like one that a lot of people say they hear. You can't get over the past because these people are not able and willing. They're able, so I shouldn't say that, because he's a covert. He's not out there. He's like actor of the year. He's not out there really letting his mask slip. There were a couple times, and if you guys want me to get into stories where his mask slipped around my friends and family, I can, and I guess he suffered such a narcissistic injury that he couldn't hide it. I can get into that. And also his family at my son's birthday party, I can get into that. But you can't get over the past was something I heard all the time. And to them, the past could be a day prior. You found out that they lied about something yet again. And you need to talk about issues in order for them to not repeat themselves. So I would want to talk about something in order to understand why he made that decision in the first place. And these people don't want to explain themselves. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to have to apologize. even though this person would apologize, but just kind of more to shut it down. Because I don't wanna go back and forth, or I'm hitting him with too many receipts, too many facts, too many truths that he's like, no. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do it again. But there was no real discussion. I don't want to sit there and blame you, but I want some clarity so that moving forward, we're not like this. Mind you, this is when I thought I was dealing with somebody who had an open mind like me and didn't have a personality disorder. So, you're just like your sister and your mom, which this person has never met my mom. My mom was not part of our lives for the better part of my early 20s, and still, she's not part of myself, my siblings. She doesn't take part in any of our lives. She's living her own life. That's a whole different story about how I grew up with my mother. But she basically just abandoned us, and he knows that. She has nothing to do with us, her grandkids, nothing. So, knowing this information, I don't know how you can tell me, and never meeting my mom, I'm just like my mom, and I'm just like my sister, which my sister is suffering from a lot of mental distress. She also went through a crazy abusive relationship, not with a covert narcissist, but with somebody, just a general abusive person that was physically, mentally, just all around abusive. And she suffered and stayed so bad that it actually made her become just paranoid about everything, and kind of like she doesn't rely on any of her own judgment at all. And it's just like, and I don't say paranoid in a judgmental way, I say just she doesn't trust anything. Like, it just went to a crazy level of abuse with that person. So he's just chalking it up to, your sister's crazy, so my mom is crazy, my sister's crazy, and I'm just like them. So you're a B, just like your mom. You don't know my mom. So what? You've never met my mom. I haven't seen my mom in years. How am I a B just like my mom? Okay, that doesn't hurt my feelings, but okay, I know where you're trying to go with this. Where are all the men from your past? I'm not trying to be in a polygamous relationship, so the last relationship, I left, which was my daughter's father. So what do you mean, where are all the men from your past? AKA, he's trying to, and he would say, oh, look at me, I'm the only one who can like endure my craziness and anxiety attacks, and just like I'm all over the place, and no one can take this. So he's showing me that he's the only one able to handle me emotionally. How you feel isn't always the truth. This was by far one of my favorites on the list that this person would say to me. And not in a nice way. I'm saying like favorites by trying to praise it. Please don't twist my words or anything. But I'm saying favorite as in, what are you saying to me? Like, I don't understand this at all. What are you saying to me? How you feel isn't always the truth. And when I would repeat this phrase to other people and say, this is what this person says to me, no one understood that phrase, because if how I feel isn't the truth, which we all experience our own truth, we all go through life experiencing our versions of events. So this is my truth. This situation, I can literally show you where you lied. I can show you proof of you lying in a certain situation, or manipulating a situation. But how I feel isn't always the truth. This person was trying to plant seeds to make me just believe my reality was not real. I was living in some false reality, and I'm just a crazy person. So that's always what it chalks up to, is I'm crazy. So that was something I heard all the time, that how I felt wasn't the truth. So I would ask him, okay, so if how I feel isn't the truth, which I would say it's my truth and it's my experience that I'm sharing with you, is how you feel the truth? And he would just beat around the bush. He would just be like, no, I'm just saying how you feel isn't the truth. How you feel isn't always the truth. How you feel isn't always the truth. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me, but yeah. It's all in your head. I would hear this constantly. I know that's something, another textbook narcissist phrase. It's all in your head. It's all in your head. Just, again, little seeds trying to plant that you are not mentally well. You don't understand what's going on around you. And these people deal with you like you're supposed to be in a straitjacket somewhere in a white room. Like you have no idea and no grasp on reality. But slowly, if someone makes you doubt your reality, what they don't understand is you are going crazy. You're going crazy by dealing with a narcissistic person. And I would say that you're making me crazy. You're making me crazy. He would say also, no one's making you crazy. You feel how you want to feel. How am I feeling how I want to feel when you know you're doing something disrespectful, when you know you're doing something that's not truthful, when you know you're doing things that are down, right out, just mad behavior, like madness behavior towards me, and you're saying that this is my interpretation, which is false. It's always false. This is no interpretation. If somebody on the outside seen this behavior, they wouldn't think that it's okay. If a third party came in and seen what was going on, they would be like, what? Well, like, what's happening? You know, they wouldn't understand that situation. So keep painting these pictures. That's something I always heard as well. Keep painting these pictures. AKA, again, I'm making up some type of false narrative. I don't know what I'm talking about. All of that. You're paranoid, which goes without saying, because I believe that's another textbook phrase, as well as you're crazy, another textbook phrase. So I have a little note here. So if anybody on the outside agreed with me, he would say they don't know what they're talking about. And these included, and were not limited to, my family and friends, companies. So there was an instance where I called when I already had separated from him, and he was telling me that he was still paying the car insurance. My name was still on the car insurance, and we were trying to go forward, and I was trying to branch out and get my own car insurance, my own car, return the car that I was using that I got from his family. I didn't want anything to do with this person paying bills and stuff for me. So since I was on there, he's telling me, oh, I'm gonna deduct payments he's supposed to give me for child and spousal support. I'm gonna deduct, which he's not supposed to, or nor allowed to do, is just make his own deductions, and tell me that the insurance is way higher for my vehicle alone, not including his. The insurance is way higher than it appears to be. So I'd ask for proof, like a normal person. I ask for proof of these things. I have no issue with paying you for my car insurance. I'm driving the car for the time being. Sorry about that. My phone just showed that it's dying. I have no problem paying the car insurance. You know, I have no problem being a fair and honest person and taking part in this. But I need you to show me the quote. These things would be so difficult. For a normal person, it could just be A and B. Here, you need a quote? Here's the quote, and show it to the person. I have to call the car insurance company. I have to tell them my information. I have to tell them his information. And thank God I was on there, because when I gave all the information, I asked, okay, for the car that I was driving, the car I was driving, because he had his own vehicle. I said, how much specifically for this vehicle, model, make, everything? They had my profile up there. How much is the car insurance on that vehicle alone, just minus the other vehicle? How much is that? She told me, and it was way off of what he had been telling me and deducting from my payment for my support. So when I confronted him about something like that, he would just be like, they don't know what they're talking about. An insurance company doesn't know what they're talking about. This is their job. They have absolutely zero reason to lie to me or to him, but they don't know what they're talking about. And this happens to him often, apparently. Companies, everybody just doesn't know what they're talking about. He would tell me, oh, people are just misunderstood. They always mess up my stuff. So they're giving me a fake quote right now, is what you're telling me. This person was beyond belief. Like, it's unbelievable. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. So companies, my therapist, because I was driven to go to therapy because I really thought something was wrong with me. So I'm going to therapy, and I would come back and I would tell the therapist about stories about him and I, because you couldn't get this person to go to any therapy. He thinks therapists are just BS and they're reading out of books and they don't know what they're talking about. So when I came home one time and I was telling him something my therapist said and how to deal with certain things, he's like, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. They don't know about real life situations. They're just reading out of textbooks. They really don't have any idea of how to deal with certain things in real life. This is not real. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. So he wanted me to doubt the therapist and their advice because their advice was not feeding into his narrative. So he doubted his own best friend. His best friend was one of the nicest, kindest people I've ever met. I don't think he's ever showed his side of narcissism to his friends. He has very superficial conversations about sports, about music, just about general stuff. They'll drink, they'll laugh. They went to university together. His little group of friends. They seem like great guys. And the funny thing is, all of them, except for one, took the same course. He went to school for mechanical engineer. 2 of them went for electrical, but the rest went for mechanical and 1 went for business. Why is everybody progressing, but you're it looks like you're stagnant in your life? Like, he had a decent, like, good paying job that wasn't in his field. And I would get into another discussion about his ambition and the way he looked at certain things, but everyone was progressing. And I mean, I digress right now with that, but he wasn't like those people. Like, those people seemed genuine and like they were good friends. And during one discussion I had with his best friend, and I was like, you know what, something is off, like, about your friend. I fought myself to not speak to him about it because I didn't want to tell anybody our business. I wanted things to be private. At a certain point, I wasn't even telling my family, my friends, anybody. Like, I was just trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and do I want to stay with this person and have my children here in this environment. I was on the fence. I didn't know about narcissism, and which a lot of people in these videos I watch on YouTube, we don't know. You know, that's not something that's taught. We're always taught about abuse, and a lot of the times it's physical abuse. We're not taught about mental abuse and how that can wear on you and be just as bad, if not worse, than physical abuse, because this follows you. You know, not to say physical abuse doesn't, and I'm not ever trying to say that physical abuse isn't crazy. Any form of abuse is wrong, and it does wear down on you, and it follows you. So when I spoke to this person, how I'm tying in his own best friend, this was A1, day one, his right hand. I was speaking to his friend, and I'm like, you know what? Some things that he just does is weird. And how was his behavior towards you over the years? Because he knew him way longer than me. So I was like, you know, everything that you guys think he is, like, he doesn't behave like that with me. And his best friend's kind of in denial. And then he brought up, I was like, how was he in his old relationship? Because he would barely speak to me about that and tried to act like it was all hunky-dory when it was over. But apparently that's not the case. So his best friend's like, yeah, he was kind of shooken up when that girl left him. So I was like, left him? But he told me that they just had a mutual breakup. He never told me she broke up with him. And he's like, yeah, she broke up with him. And, you know, he was kind of like down for a little bit, and then everything was back to normal. He never told me this. He made it like they came to some agreement, and he never ever told me that she broke up with him. And mind you, this is his best friend. This guy seems very genuine from the vibe that I get from him. He is a really nice, down-to-earth guy. Why would your best friend lie on how your relationship ended? He has no gain from that. So when we were having a discussion before, I was like, hey, I want to ask you something. I'm like, you told me before that you and your ex had a mutual breakup. I had a conversation with your friend, and I asked how you behaved in your last relationship. And this person told me that she broke up with you. He looked at me dead in my face with the psycho narcissist eyes I referenced through my old video. And he's like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, your best friend doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's it. Just abruptly, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's like, it's done. I'm not supposed to doubt it. So he would always tell me, you always have to be right, even though that's how he felt. I didn't care to be right. I don't care to argue about trivial things. For me, the only way I'm going to not back down from something is if you're arguing with me, first of all, about my character, because like I said, I can't always rely on my memory. I'm human, so sometimes I'm not remembering things correctly, but I'll be damned if you're going to convince me that, oh, I said this or did this in certain situations, because that's not my character. So even though if I don't remember things, because your brain starts to become foggy, it's like your memory slowly starts to deteriorate when someone always tells you can't rely on your memory. So I'm sitting there like, is my memory okay? Like, what's going on with like, but I don't care to be right all the time. I'm not arguing about you with like, about trivial things that I don't care about. Like, I'm not. If it's a fact, like I was born on this day, then it's a fact. I'm not arguing about anything other than facts. That's it. Or I can prove to you, no, you said this on XYZ day. I'm not arguing. Like, what? I'd get sucked into argue because I think that I'm talking to a normal person. So someone's standing in your face, perpetrating that they either don't know what's going on, they're confused that you did XYZ, that you said XYZ, and they're just as shocked because they're the ones trying to convince you. They're just mirroring your behavior, which is absolutely, it's nuts. I'm going to bed. Just stonewall me. Like, I'm going to bed. One time it was broad daylight, like 7 p.m., and he's going to bed. It would be just to avoid, he doesn't want to take accountability again, and the same type of stuff like that. You need help. I was the one that always needed help. I was the one who apparently was the narcissist. I watched too much Dr. Phil because he would see. I'd put in my headphones. I'd go and do the dishes or things like that. When I would put the kids to bed, or he'd put the kids to bed, or we'd put the kids to bed together, I would sneak and go and watch these videos, like in the washroom before I showered. I'd put my headphones in and be watching them while I'm washing the dishes. I started to take in information, and not only from Dr. Phil, I branched out. I Googled things, and everything was pointing to narcissism. Everything. I didn't know deep about that. I just thought narcissistic people were people who were just obsessed with themselves, their image, things like that. This person didn't come off this way at all, because he was a covert narcissist. He was like a man's man. He was just the most polite. Comes in a room and is, hey, good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Would bring donuts for everybody, just like, but at home you're a full-blown psychotic person. Like, you're not well. Like, but I need help, but I'm wearing this fake mask and just kissing everybody's butt in society and at work and trying to make people like me. But I need help. Coming home and transforming into a different person, but I need help. It's because you have anxiety, was another thing I'd always hear. Oh, you just have anxiety. It's just an issue with you dealing with your anxiety. That's why you don't deal with your anxiety. You know what? You need help, and me having anxiety just would tie 2 and 2 together, because I have anxiety. So I don't know how to interpret proper things like a normal person. I don't know how to deal with things. I'm meshing things in my head because I have anxiety. I'm overthinking things. No, it's not my anxiety. You're not a truthful person, and you're trying to manipulate me. It's not anxiety. I never said that, which we all probably hear from narcissistic people, no matter which kind they are, is that I never said that. Just, I didn't say that. Or never I forgot. I'm like, why is it ever like you forgot? Or why is it just die hard? I never said that. Or telling me that I'm the one that in fact said whatever sentence, it was me. Yeah, so I was the one who probably said that. I never said that. And he would get like the crazy eyes again, like, I didn't say that. What are you talking about? So you don't care about your kids. Oh my gosh. This started to become something he would try and say to trigger me in an argument, that I don't care about my kids. Me, somebody who anything, all when my children's birthday comes and I realize that they're getting a year older, I'm sitting down and crying over my child's former age and them getting older. Like, there's a lot of things I'm crying. Like, I'm a super emotional person. Like, I have a very strong front, but as an empath, I feel things on a very deep scale. So it's like, oh my gosh, like a lot of things just, I don't know. Like, there's nothing against that. And he would also tell me, you're way too emotional. Like, you're super emotional. Things would just, if I heard a case, like I'm really into watching like my crime and stuff like that, you know. If I would watch like something and it would trigger like pain in me, like I heard about a child being abused or something like that, and I just start crying and I'm like, oh my gosh, or I'm telling him a story and tears are coming out my eyes because I'm feeling for what was going on. I'm feeling for that innocent child. It's, oh my gosh, like, you're so emotional. Like I'm not supposed to have a human reaction to me hearing about mistreatment of a child. Like, and I'm just a horrible parent. I just don't care about my kids. And this is going on when I'm having an argument because I cry in front of my kids and I'm arguing back, which I really wish I didn't feed into, but I didn't know I was being manipulated. So therefore, me having an emotional reaction to someone manipulating me is making me not care about my kids because I don't care about my kids seeing me in this state. What about you don't care about your kids because you'll allow yourself to abuse me and manipulate me in front of the kids, in front of your kids? You're like a wild animal. When I'm reacting, I'm like a wild animal because I'm crying. And now this person triggered a lot of panic attacks in me where I'm sitting on the ground, hurtled up, like hyperventilating and crying, just crying. So one of the worst days that I was with this person, I remember I had a hoodie on and I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, I went into the washroom, I locked myself in the washroom, I laid down on the tile on the floor in the washroom and I was bawling uncontrollably my eyes out, like into the hoodie. I was just on the ground, laying down, soaking the hoodie in tears, just bawling. I'm so glad I'm not in that space anymore with this person, but just crying all the time. And this person could just casually play like Call of Duty or FIFA and just not care. You know, his own mother visiting from New York after a while started to see, and then she's like, oh, you know, she tried to sit down with us. And his biological mother is a very sweet person, and I know she endured a lot of lying and abuse. His dad is a habitual liar. I don't know enough if his dad is a covert narcissist. He's a man's man too. He's super friendly, everything, wants to go out of his way for people, but he's a liar, and I've seen examples of it myself. And just, I heard crazy stories from his mom when they were babies about how he would manipulate and lie and do things. So I don't know if he was raised by a narcissist. That's why I don't know. So I didn't spend enough time around his dad, but I spent a good amount of time in that 4 years around his parents and his dad and his stepmom. But his biological mom actually lives in New York and Staten Island. So we'd be around her. We had a good connection. We'd speak for hours on the phone when I'm showing her the kids. And I tell her things that I'm trying to work through and talk about with her son. And she came there and she told him, like, you really don't have any empathy towards Cheyenne. Red flag, ding, ding, ding. Like, your mom's telling you that you don't show me empathy. She's seeing how he's dealing with me. I had to excuse myself to go cry. I ended up freaking out, taking off the engagement ring, slamming it in the washroom on the counter, and we had no drain, like, stopper, and it went into the drain. And then I'm feeling guilty. I'm feeling bad. His mom's like, oh, you know, maybe you overreacted a bit because your son is driving me crazy. If you're seeing this small tidbit of what's going on, this is my life. Imagine not getting empathy every single day and you were at my house for a week. And that is the end of my list because I thought I had another page with all that's going on and all the notes in my phone. But what I do have is other examples for whole stories. So I'm not going to share those as examples because those can be videos for another time. It's approaching the 30-minute mark, so I'm gonna try and cut my video and wrap it up. please like, follow, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you were told, if any of these phrases are recognizable to you. Just share your story. I encourage people to share their story, please. Again, like, subscribe, let me know what you guys want to hear, and have an amazing day.